Okay, we are in the round of 8, ladies and gentlemen, the quarterfinals of the third division as qualifier. And today we have Team Russia going up against no Rofl. Now, before we head into the games again, I have to throw a little bit of a caveat out there once more. So, if we experience a few lag spikes during the game or a couple of dropped frames, that's unfortunately normal. Some of you might have heard about me moving back to Europe, and I just moved to Spain. I'm currently still in Airbnb. Signed the lease for my own apartment, but I can only move in a couple of days and don't have internet there yet. So I'm currently still in the Airbnb, and the unfortunate circumstance is that here in the Airbnb, so you might see it from the lighting as well, it's not really the best, I only have a Wi-Fi connection here. And as you can imagine, for streaming, that's not really the optimal circumstance. Yesterday, we got away with very, very few lag spikes, so that was pretty awesome. But if there's going to be some dropped frames later on, this is the reason. Unfortunately, it's the best that we can do here with the internet connection right now. There's no cable connection that I can use, so for now, it will have to do, just in case there are some problems. Division S qualifier number 3, that's where we're at right now. We are in the round of 8, and Team Russia so far they've pretty much stomped the competition. I mean, these bad boys have done extremely well in the previous qualifiers. They've done exceptionally well, of course, at the Nations Cup, where nearly the entire team that you see here today for Team Russia has played too. And we have Imperius again on the side of no Rofl, which to me actually is really interesting because Imperius is a hero that Team Russia in particular has actually played a lot in the main tank role. So now we see Imperius played against them, and I'm personally really interested to see how this is going to work out. The last time it was actually pretty fun to watch him here. When it comes to the ban pattern, on the other hand, Maiev and Zeratul get banned out. Maiev, of course, first of all, is such an important ban in nearly every single game that we're seeing here for the Division S qualifiers. And then with the ban on Zeratul, the trend to ban out anyone that can set up initiation is just continued. And Uburak, for the same reason, banned out here too. Team Russia with Stalk, they have of course a fantastic player on the front line that loves to play with an aggressive tank, so Uburak gets banned out against him. But with Imperius, we actually have this time Johanna, Taken, and Jaina. So instead of the variation with Imperius being played as the main tank that we have seen previously, it seems that today he's going to be moved into the off-lane on Shire, our first map in this best of 3 series. And for Team Russia, Garrosh early on together with Hanzo. So a lot of engage potential through the arrow, through Garrosh himself. Banning out Jimmy now. We talk oftentimes about the synergy that you have with Arthurs and Reyna, that you can proc the ace in the hole on level 1 with a Frozen Tempest of Arthurs, but obviously if you have the slows of Johanna and on top of that Jaina as well in the mix, then as you can imagine, you will proc that talent and those 15% extra damage just very like reliably as well. So another reason to ban Jimmy out here. Could also, of course, be that we might see a Tracer at some point. Doesn't have to, but anything that is really, let's call it allergic against heavy auto attacks, usually benefits from Jimmy not being part of the draft here. With Malfurion banned out, it's actually a pretty big one because Kolya Martian has played a lot of Malfurion in the past, and for the Russian team, for Team Russia, it was always like a go-to hero. They really love to synergize with Malfurion, with the roots and everything else here. Tyrande, on the other hand, is now the fallback option for the support role on the side of Team Russia, and they have Junkrat together with that too. So now we have a Junkrat and Hanzo combo. But a lot of damage here already in the mix, especially, of course, with the follow-up after any stun that can come through with Tyrande. Rhaegar, now that he can self-ancestral him again, being played a lot more than previously, having together with Thrall, so they go full smog here. The Team Orc on the right side. They're missing Garrosh a little bit, but, well, they can glance at him from a distance. So with that said, we're heading into the last pick here, as we are going into game number 1, and I'm totally ready for this. I want to see how Russia is going to play here, and especially the Eastern European teams are usually known for a lot of aggression in the games, and I'm looking forward to that for sure. Leoric playing the top lane, going to go up against Imperius here, and, well, with that, we're heading into the first game of the day. Shire, the first map between Team Russia and no Rofl. Game number 1, Team Russia versus no Rofl. And on the left side of Shire, our first map in the series, we have Stalk on Garrosh, Kolya Martian on Tyrande, Mr. Banana Beer on Junkrat, Toxic on Leoric, and Farlander is playing Hanzo. On the right side of the map, their opponent, the Division 1 team, no Rofl. At this point, we have Xavier on Johanna, Valamax on Jaina, Lolpro on Rhaegar, and we have Tigronix on Thrall, and Kick last but not least on Imperius. Well, I am ready for this game for sure. I was actually a little bit sad yesterday. We had great games, a lot of 3-mappers as well. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see the Russian team. And I'm not gonna lie, but it's always a lot of fun to cast these boys. Because they are super aggressive. It's a very, very awesome playstyle. And I mean, they are already going in with a kill against good old Imperius. And they might get a second one too. There comes the attack against Johanna. Ironskin is still there, and Xavier is about to fall here. Barely moves away from this one. Lolpro definitely helping out at this point, but that was a very, very close encounter there. A lot of aggression early on from the blue team, as you could expect, and this is absolutely awesome. Love it. Absolutely fantastic here. I mean, with that said, Rhaegar in particular is something that I enjoy seeing a bit more of these days. Ooh, Farlander against Tigronix, trying to find the angle. Doesn't quite manage to pull that off, but close for sure. Now, up at the top lane, we now have a Kick on his Imperius. And on the level 1 talent for him, we've seen Burn the Impure taken here. I've seen that already quite a bit. Toxic on his Leoric is riding a majestic cock into battle right now. That's what we're currently seeing from him. It's a majestic golden cock at that. A little bit toxic if you ask me, but I think it's fine. So, with that said, we're currently having the camp already prepped right down here. So in this situation, Xavier is trying to time it a little bit, is going to help Imperius to just push this out, because the camp on the blue side was taken a bit earlier, so he delays the red camp, the red bruiser camp for a bit, which means that they're just in tower reach when they clash against each other, and that of course helps with the deep push quite significantly. With that said, we're now seeing in the middle already an attempt to go for the Dragonite, and oh, that was a close call. If Valamax didn't get that last hit through there, that could have been the first Dragonite of the game right there. Down to the bottom of the map, we actually have Thrall falling against Farlander, and the Dragonite is taken by the blue team too. No Rofl is currently in this early stage of game number 1. Being taught a bit of a lesson. 2 kills against 0, nearly a level lead already for Team Russia. And Stork and his boys are definitely gaining some momentum here. Thrall dying had another effect too, by the way. He's currently on 0 again for the Frostwolf pack stacks, which he chose on level 4. The camp up at the top, by the way, still surviving, as you can see here. So that was active for a long, long time. Down to the bottom of the map, still a double push from Stork and Farlander. Stork himself needs to be careful as Tigronix lands one of his wolves, but the Dragonite is still active. And what you can see here is that they're holding the Dragonite back for a long time. They didn't fully commit to the wall. And you shouldn't really do that in the early stages anyways. You are trying to always attack with minions, so that the minions soak the tower shots, and you yourself will just simply use the Dragon's Breath as much as you can whenever your wave is pushed out to take the opponent's wave down and then move in with your next wave. Therefore you get the most value out of the Dragonite, and that is reflected in the wall taken down, an experience lead, and a massive invade actually. I mean, they nearly have level 7 and they're totally willing to fight for this one. Leo is coming in too, and they're fighting for it. They definitely do, and Vala is already down. Vala isn't even in the game, that's how dead she is. Jaina has fallen, Stork is being attacked now too, and we have Kick going up against Farlander, but this is not looking good for no Rofl whatsoever. Moving in again, taking the Siege Giant camp here. And with that, we're now having level 7, 3 kills against 0. And no Rofl is not laughing, not even a little bit. I mean, right now, they are going up against one of the favorites of this particular qualifier. Let's be honest about this. And they are a strong team. They're a great team in Division 1 of Heroes Launch, but at the same time, they're also up against an opponent that is just incredibly strong, has just won the Nations Cup in Heroes of the Storm, and is now performing especially well in all of those Division S qualifiers. They haven't directly qualified just yet, but they are getting closer and closer to securing themselves a spot in the ranks. They go again for Valamax, and Jaina has absolutely no chance here. None whatsoever. I mean, right now with Jaina being down again, you don't even have the damage to depush this, and this is a double camp that is actually moving in for this. So we are currently seeing a double camp pushing through the bot lane, with Leo still soaking top and middle. Leo level 4 went for Neil Peasants again, so we don't have the ghastly reach variation that we sometimes see on Infernal Shrines and other maps, going for more of the standard here. And even in heavy invade right now against Jojo, Iron Skin and Cleanser being used. But with that heavy of a push behind the fort, we have the main structure itself now about to be taken out. The double camp doing fairly well here, doing really well with this. Now, a pretty good lunge on the side of Imperius, but not able to get anything done out of it. There was no follow-up from the damage side, so a bit of an annoying situation for them. Another Dragon Knight is also up for grabs as they're starting to move in again. Yep, here comes the lunge, trying to lock him down. Valamax not with a follow-up just yet, but there comes Tyrande, and they're trying to turn it around, and the offlaner goes down. We have the Riptire coming in now too, trying to push Xavida out on his Johanna, creating more space for the Dragon Knight to be taken again. And with that, we have level 10 abilities, 5 kills against 0. And of course, those heroic abilities coming through in the fights now too. And just a dominant position at this point on the side of Team Russia. Looking absolutely fantastic in this first game. And they want to win this tournament. They want to qualify directly for this, but I think currently when it comes to points in the standings, even if they just make it into the grand final, it would more or less already guarantee that they are qualified through points for Division S. And I mean, this is pretty much what this is all about, right? Without level 10 abilities, no Rofl is having a tough time here. They lost 2 forts now, haven't gotten a kill yet. And they're still in a position where they are heavily pressured at the bot lane, where Leo is taking experience in the middle as well, and they're also losing the wall down here now too. And without the level 10 abilities, they have to be really afraid of Leoric at some point moving in, dropping in the tomb, anybody else helping with an engage too, and so far we haven't really seen that. Here comes the entomb, and they're going in, and there's the stun again. Jaina goes down, the counter kill against Garrosh at least, so he's eliminated. But there comes the Riptire, the damage is there, but Fallender falls, and that's the 2-for-1 trade right now, with a third one dropping, Leoric dead, and even Bannerbeer, who's trying to just get more and more damage in, can't really change the outcome of this one. Kolya Martian trying to get away, but there's absolutely no way, no. With everybody moving in now for Tyrande, she's gonna fall too. So that's 4 kills secured at this point. They're starting to move in again, trying to get another one against Bannerbeer down here. That's not happening anytime soon. And of course, right now, for no Rofl, this is the moment where you really try and gain some momentum back. And you can start by simply attempting to take a few of these camps. But instead, it's Johanna who finds herself in trouble. She goes down. The camp isn't taken either. Will be claimed in just a few seconds by Team Russia. And they're trying to chase. They're trying to go in to maybe take Imperius down. Now, that's a bit unlikely. He's on the run here. Jaina is also helping out. But the situation hasn't really changed too much. When you look at the structures on the map, a significant advantage currently for Team Russia. Still not a single fort destroyed by no Rofl. The damage numbers are also pretty much mirroring that. 34,000 already on the side of Hanzo. Another Dragon Knight announced, while we still have a talent disadvantage for no Rofl. They are an entire level away from level 13, so they can't do anything about that. And there's even an invade now on the Bruiser camp on the right side of the map. Team Russia is looking at the level 13 talent advantage and says, well, what are you going to do? We're going to move in, we're going to take down your camp, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing you can do about it. And with that quick kill against Imperius, the situation, of course, gets even worse. Gets stunned out, gets taunted, and then gets dropped easy peasy. In the meantime, we're having another Dragon Knight more or less up for grabs. They can move to the top to reclaim the shrine, which is what they're doing right now. By the way, heroic abilities haven't really touched on too many just yet, but we have the Wrath of Angeris taken on level 1 here. So that is an interesting choice that allows them to be a bit more aggressive with the initiation and maybe get an isolation kill. So it might help no Rofl to get something started here and set something up, but it's not going to be easy for sure. Big push at the top lane now with the double camp that has been pushing through here. At least one bruiser camp at the bottom is claimed. But Kick is, of course, now in a spot where he has to spend quite a bit of time on the Bridge of Death to make sure that they're not losing a keep here. Arrow comes, gets completely dodged. Nice reaction by Valamax and Tigronis here on Jaina and Thrall, moving out very quickly. But here comes Leo, and Leo is looking for the Entomb, but he doesn't find it. They counter-engage with everything that they have against, in particularly Hanzo. But now comes the aggression against Thrall, and he falls. The War Chief is dead. The Riptire comes in. They're body blocking Johanna, trying to go for Valamax as well, and they get the stun. Where's the flip? There's the kill, and there might be even a triple after we already saw a double kill. The third one comes through. Johanna falls, and they're trying to make the play for Imperius, but here comes the ult, trying to get Garrosh into a bad spot where maybe with the help off the keep they can take him down, but not even that happens. A Dragonite has been claimed in the meantime in the middle of the map. That's where we see Junkrat, and now of course the bot lane is wide open. Wide open right now. They're starting to move in for this one. The keep is gonna fall. The only question here is how much more can Team Russia get? Will they go for core? Are they gonna try and just simply take a second keep, or what's the decision? And I think it hinges a little bit on the question of can they get another kill or not. The Dragonite is already on it, but here comes the next Entomb. They're going in again. The stun from Tyrande. They're moving in. The Blessed Shield has been used by Johanna, but they're trying to get the kill. The shields are falling. The core is falling as well. The damage coming in as Stork dies, and they're still looking at a 50% Dragonite, 80% on the core. We have Imperius falling, and there might even be another kill. Yes, Johanna is dead as well. Thrall is about to die too. The three melee heroes are getting dropped here on the front line. The core is down to 69%. Vala dies, and is still Jaina and not Vala. One blonde, the other one with dark hair. I kind of need to find the difference here. But as it stands, it's only Rhaegar that survives. The dog is still in play as we have the core falling. And this is game number 1, ends in favor of Team Russia. Game number 2, Towers of Doom. We have Team Russia going up against No Rofl. And No Rofl, well, the last game was a little bit true to their name, because let's face it, there was very little reason to laugh for the red team on Dragonshire. Team Russia just swept over them and took them apart there. And the Russians, again, they are not only strong, they are aggressive. So if you're a team that is maybe a bit outmatched by them, then all of a sudden they're just going to walk over you within seconds. They're going to take every little advantage that they can get, force you into fights you don't want to take, and just take it from there. That's exactly what happened. Towers of Doom is our second map, and we have map choice from No Rofl. So they want to play here, which gives Team Russia first map, first ban and first pick. Personally, I'm a bit interested to see where Samuro lands in this game, just simply because we've seen more and more Towers of Doom games with Samuro, and particularly from teams that feel a little bit outperformed by their opponent, we oftentimes get to see the hero early on to try and add a macro element to the map that can help you to play around your opponent a little bit. So with Team Russia dominating team fights through great coordination and execution, I think there's a good chance that No Rofl is going to try and just open the map up a bit, try and really play the distance here, maybe through globals, maybe through Samuro, go and focus on some structures and play it around that. And Russia is actually banning out the Haka now for pretty much that reason, I'd say. I could have seen a ban on Samuro, as I said before. But let's not forget that Team Russia also has first pick, first ban. So they can definitely try and circle some of their picks around potential picks on the other side here. Hanzo banned out too. Like a lot of the engagers with the arrow, of course, super strong here. And Imperius, as I said before, has been in the past a bit of a staple for Team Russia. They played him a lot in the main tank position. There's Zeratul right away as a first pick on the Russian side, so No Rofl have to think a bit about how they are going to play this, especially since there is certain heroes like Jaina, for example, that have a lot of synergy with Zeratul. Diablo with the Apocalypse is another one that you can play in that role. So there's definitely reason to at least think about those two. And No Rofl, they are gonna head into Jimmy and Tyrael. I mean, Tyrael with Sanctification, as we said before, can really deal with the Void Prison. If there's a good Void Prison against 2-3 heroes and Tyrael times his Sanctification properly, you can negate a lot of the wombo damage that a lot of those Zeratul compositions hinge upon. So that's definitely a play that can be made. Reyna obviously has very, very good damage output. Can also, if you go into Banji, do a lot of work here, but look at this. We talked about this in the first draft, right? And Stork gets his Anubarak, and Kolya Martian gets his Malfurion. And as I said before, he really, really loves to play that Malfurion. And there's so many little things here. I mean, the Russians, they looked at this and they're saying, like, okay, we have the opportunity here to go into Jaina. Do we take Jaina? And they're like, nah. Let's go for our Anubarak, let's play that aggressive style, let's pick a Malfurion with it, give our support the hero that he performs the best with, where we have a lot of synergies already and the roots after they engage through Anubarak. And then no Rofl, even though they already picked Tyrael, they still want to ban our Jaina and say, okay, we don't want to run into a problem here with a Void Prison combo. So the Russian team is having a very, very dangerous composition already. Now they need a bit more damage. I've seen them play Ofia, for example. That's a hero that they could try and pick in here. But we have Genji Leoric on the other side now. So with Tyrael, didn't really expect Leoric to be taken, to be absolutely honest with you. One good combo that you still have is Blaze Tyrael, but Leo can maybe rotate a bit faster between the lanes here, and with Neil Peasants on level 4 clear those out. But now you're dealing with Team Russia with Blaze, and they have Mephisto as well. Farlander going into Mephisto here as the last pick for the Russian team, and no Rofl is now looking at this and they're like, okay, how do we deal with that? They still need a support. They don't have a support at this point. Normally I would say that Tyrande is open, but you don't really have anything that Tyrande can follow up on, so I highly doubt that we're going to see her. Rhaegar is way more likely, and that's exactly what they're picking here. So they go into Rhaegar for LoL Pro, and with that, the stage is set for our second map. It is Towers of Doom, and we're going to see right now if no Rofl can fight back in this series, or if we have Team Russia entering the semifinals right away. Game number 2. Team Russia is in the lead as we are heading into Towers of Doom, and on the left side, Banabir on Zeratul, Toxic on Blaze. We have Farlander today on Mephisto in the second game. Stork finally can play his Anubarak. And we have Kolya Martian on his Malfurion. The right side of the map, no Rofl. Trying it again in game number 2 here. This time with Tigronics on Reyna. Kick on Leoric. Lolpro is back on Rhaegar. We have Xavier on Tyrael. And Valamax on Genji. Time for the Shurikens to come out. I just hope that when Genji is disappointed by his own performance, he's not going to commit Sudoku. That would be very, very unfortunate here. With that said, we're heading straight into our second game as we have potential aggression. I just want to see how exactly Russia is going to play this now they have Anubarak. They were already really aggressive in the last game, but I want to see if that is even increased with this one. Also, Mephisto is always a very interesting one. Currently, we have Anger actually taken, so we have cooldown reduction. And it forces him to play a little bit farther out here, Farlander, so that he gets the auto attacks in. We have seen different builds in the past with more of a focus onto the Skull Missile, for example. But right now, with Anger on level 1, definitely going to be in the thick of things a little bit more. So already Tyrael in a very awkward spot because Stork is not really bothered by Xavier at all. He's just looking at the old ruins and they're starting to go for him. Tyrael's still on the run and he should be able to get out of this, but you can tell that there was a bit of a moment where Xavier on his Tyrael was sitting there was thinking, oh shit. So that was a little bit monka. Yeah, but he gets out, so that wasn't really a problem. So Genji has decided to not commit Subaru and instead is still fighting here in the middle. He needs to be a little bit careful because Zeratul is definitely super strong. I mean, if he had the choice to commit Suzuki before Banabir takes him down, he would do that to deny experience. But of course, that's not really possible here. Same time now, though, the camp invade, a big one at that. Blaze not here, and that's the first kill and the second. Anubarak and Malfurion, they both go down, and that is no Rofl starting game number 2 with a double kill. Well done by them. That was actually a great invade. Great timing on their part. Able to take down 2 heroes of the opponent and not even losing a lot of experience in the process on lanes. So that was fantastic. They take the camp with it too. And it was just great. So now they have a bit more map control through the bot lane already being damaged. They can start attacking the tower, the bell tower itself. And they have an experience lead, which helps them a little bit. Half level ahead. Well, maybe not quite here, but they're still in a pretty decent position with this. And that also gives a lot of confidence. If you get stomped in game number 1 and you start the second game with a bit of a fresh mindset and you open up with a double kill, that's always great. That's always pretty awesome. Talking about awesome things, Mephisto going down here is not so awesome for Team Russia. That shouldn't really have happened. You have clear vision on 3 heroes, and still they apparently moved in with him, so Mephisto dies. And with that said, we now have a situation where you have 3 kills against 0, and Team Russia is half a level behind. But they turn it around, and they take Genji down. Genji immediately eliminated here. Great attack against him. And let's be fair, Genji was actually towing the line for quite some time here already. As the turnaround attempt, yeah, Kolya Martian with the interrupt attempt. LOL Pro moves away. Exchange at the top left, top right in the first altar phase with the triple altar on the map. Farlander gets the damage out on his Mephisto. And we're having the rotation happen. No one going for that bottom altar just yet. Starting to wait that out a little bit. Already looking at the situation where we have Genji moving back in now too. Yeah, already the heal on the ground from Rhaegar. Gets the healing totem out. Again, Mephisto with the lightning nova here. Gets the damage out. Tigronix from the backline. Damage, damage, damage. They're trying to turn it against Tyrael. They successfully get the kill here. Kolya Martian survives the Tyrael explosion. They're making a play for Reyna. And Jimmy is down. Jimmy is dead. And Valamox, oh, he dies. But so does Zeratul. And this is a typical Russian decision making. You're looking at a situation where you're not quite sure that you can kill Genji, but you are 100% sure that if you try, you die. But he says, YOLO, goes in, takes him down, and dies himself. And this is what I love so about this team. They are aggressive to a fault. It's really fun. They oftentimes get punished for it in certain instances, but right now they bring the aggression once again. And what started with a triple kill actually, against Team Russia is now all of a sudden looking like a very good situation for the blue team. Well, maybe not a really good situation, but they are slightly ahead. They have a slightly inexperience right now. And of course they have the extra points taken off their opponent core, as they could take 2 of the initial 3 altars and only left 1 for no Rofl. So it's a pretty cool back and forth that we're actually seeing here. We're having with the same time now Zeratul in a bit of a fight with Genji here in the middle still. By the way, after anger for Mephisto, we had the static barrier taken on level 4. As we said before, with the level 1 talent choice, he needs to be a little bit more in the action. Trickery now taken 2. So gets the shield, gets a little bit of a speed bonus here as well after he moves out of it, out of the shade. And that definitely is going to help Farlander a lot with positioning during those fights and also just keeping himself alive a little bit longer. Again, the aggression. Stork moves in. Zeratul is there. And Kolya Martian with a follow-up. But Tyrael still able to jump out with the Eldrunes. We have nearly a kill against Zeratul, but Valamox had to go in deep for this one and nearly was locked down by Stork here. 9 versus 8 now in levels, and we're looking at a double altar on the map at this point. We'll start very soon. I like that Tyrael is always getting the Eldrunes onto Mephisto. Really makes it difficult for Farlander to commit to a shade and zones him out a bit in most of these instances. Makes it a bit more flexible for Tyrael to deal with this. Tigronix with the channel, looking good so far. The fight is happening up here on the other hand, and they're starting to go for Rhaegar. LOL Pro gets slowed, ooh, and barely gets away. Gets out just in the last instance. The bottom has already been channeled through. Tigronix on his Reyna was putting the damage onto Mephisto, but the fight is continuing. And here comes the double stun, here comes the follow-up and the kill! Rhaegar is down. They are kicking the puppy as it's on the ground and get the kill against Tyrael as well. The cocoon is in and they're trying to make it a triple. They're getting the kill against Leoric, and it's a quad kill as Reyna falls. Trying to put a bit more damage onto Genji himself. The altar has already been channeled. Level 10 abilities pop during the middle of the fight, and that of course made all the difference here once again. Once that we had level 10, the cocoon was just instant. Stork getting the cocoon out, forcing the fight again, and that's exactly what they love to do here. Valamox is struggling in the mid lane against Toxic, just can't deal with all that wave clear, as we have the bot lane attacked by 3, trying to go straight for it here, trying to make sure that they are getting the damage in against the bell tower itself. And once they convert the bell tower over, you have so much control here, of course. By the way, the Durance of Hate has now been taken on level 10 by Mephisto. In terms of heroic abilities, as already expected before, we're seeing Reyna's Raiders now for interrupts, scouting a couple of these bushes too. And one of the most important tools for no Rofl is now finally available, and that's of course Tyrell's heroic ability, Sanctification. Now we do not have Entomb. Instead, we actually see them playing with the March of the Black King. Ooh, Genji. He needs to be a little bit more careful. I mean, he needs healing, we know that, and sometimes he's protected. But in this case, he needs to be careful, or he might still die. Stork actually missing the stun with a burrow charge here. That's a bit of an annoying one. 8 kills against 4 so far, and the aggression at the bot lane continues with the altar spawning in 15 seconds. And that's now a big wave that's being pushed in here. Still pretty close when it comes to points on the core, by the way. 32 against 28. Pretty much right there. But the camp is about to be taken. They're still dancing around the altar. And let's not forget that only half a level is needed to get level 13 into the hands of the blue team. They invade on the camp. They're fighting for it. Stork comes in, gets the stun. Cleanse comes through. Sanctification on the ground, and the camp is stolen. But the fight is still raging on, and already Blaze has the bunker on the ground. 3-man Void Prison, baby. And there's the stun, and that's the kill. Leoric dead. X-Strike comes in. Valamax is a bit far out there. The quick heal with the Ancestral. But now Tigronix is on the run, and run he does. But Stork is wrapping around there, looking for another potential engage here against any of these heroes. Especially Valamax is low, so is Reyna. Genji's also in trouble. Leo is about to come back, by the way. They might focus on him again, but can't get the early stun. Instead, the altar is getting channeled, and that's another 4 shots fired against the right side of the map. 13 in their hands, 32 points on the core against 24 right now. Valamax waiting for the move to the top. Just spotting out Toxic as he's in there. Starting around. We still have the 3-man push at the bottom of the map. Crossfire taken on 7 for Blaze. Going into the Fuel League now on level 13 here. Likely to follow that up with the level 16 as well. LOL Pro with a good dodge. Stork was going for the flank again, and if LOL Pro and his Rhaegar doesn't see that coming and walks right into it, then that is a potential kill against the dog right there. Ancestral was not ready yet, and obviously since the last patch, Rhaegar can finally self-Ancestral himself again. But yeah, that wasn't ready just yet. Let's take a look at the damage, actually. If you look at Mephisto, for example, he's currently sitting at 22,000. 28k for Zeratul, even before we have level 16 talents coming in for him. We're seeing still 22,000 for Jimmy. With the auto attacks and all the space that is currently provided for Tigronix, that's something where he can get a lot of damage out. But now we have, again, an attack against Zeratul. Zeratul is actually in trouble in the mid lane. Gets away, barely, against Valamax and Kick. And at the bottom of the map, we're currently looking at a push with the mercenary camps here. Starting to go in for that. Here comes the root again. Khaldor Martian is doing fantastic on Malfurion, by the way. I mean, that bad boy is just doing such a great job when it comes to these root follow-ups, and they're gonna try and go for it again. Rhaegar, the dog! On the run, the Sanctification! But the bunker is there immediately. Cocoon on Genji is getting burned down, but Xavier on Reyna is low. The jet propulsion comes in. Valamax barely survives. I don't know how that happened. But we have Rhaegar dying after he hit the Ancestral. Another 2 fall as Tyrael and Reyna are both dead. Khaldor Martian survives from Malfurion as the Tyrael explosion nearly takes him down. Genji is dead. Leoric falls, and that's a 5-man wipe right there. They're delaying the altar channel as they're making their play for the bottom bell tower. They should delay it. And they don't. Alright, bit of a mistake. Definitely a bit of a misstep. Didn't really feel that they needed. I mean, they're 3 levels ahead and 10 kills ahead. So you can make the argument that it doesn't matter. But that was definitely a situation where they could have waited for the bell tower to be taken and then grab it. Instead, they rotated Toxic up to the top lane a bit early. And he's already working on bell tower number 2. We have now 16 against 13 on the board in terms of experience. 32 against 20 on the 2 cores. Again, the engage here. 1 stun, double stun, trying to get a bit more, but the roots are this time a bit too slow. Kolya Martian is really good in his Malfurion. The one thing that he can't do is make him walk faster. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. Rumors have it that the money pick is allowing you an extra 5% movement speed. Totally unfounded, of course. I heard that there's actually a ball caster, someone would say a bold caster, that is spreading those rumors, and it's total fake news, but it is still there. So people have for a long time now claimed that the money pick is the only mount with magical powers that make you move 5% faster. And I mean, who knows if it's true or not? I personally think it's fake news, but again, the rumor has been there for a long time, so there might be something to it. Be it as it may, there's no money pick in this game, but there's a dead puppy right there, because Zeratul once again starts to take down the dog. We have another cocoon on Genji, and there's the stun. The X-Strike! No fucking way! Valamax gets actually out of this one. Valamax got out of this. That's actually crazy. That he was able to dodge that. That's pretty insane. So he survives for now. 15 kills against 4, triple altar phase on the map, and that could nearly be game. I mean, not quite yet, but it's getting close. With Leo dying up here to the top, things are looking grim. One channel after another is now coming through. The bottom bell tower has been converted again, but Banabia drops Genji after we just saw Leoric die. Now here comes the Void Prison, and they're going to try and make the play. That's going to be another kill, no doubt about that. I mean, there is no way that Jimmy gets out here. Tigronix is dead, and that's another altar already taken. The boss is, by the way, up on the map too, and with only 2 heroes surviving right now, they could make that play easy peasy. So right now there's the channel, another 4 shots fired, and as you can imagine, that means 32 against 4 points on the core, and now all that you have to do is move up top and take the boss here. You need to be a bit careful because there's still Tyrael with the Sanctification, but let's be honest for a second here, without the damage dealers, there is just no way they can make anything happen here, even if they land the perfect Sanctification. And already the attack again against Leoric. The boss is low, and this should just be game. Yes, Tyrael comes in. What exactly can he do here? He's gonna try, but there's the cocoon already as they're starting to burn them down. Ancestral is there, but it's too late. And there's the kill. Genji is dead, and you can sanct all day, my friend, but you won't be able to change the outcome of this game. Game is over, and this is Team Russia with a 2-0 victory over No Rofl as they claim the quarterfinal victory and move on to the semifinals.